Another refugee? All right, step forward. Just a moment. Allowing anyone into Matriarch's Mercy unprocessed will upset the precarious ratio of refugees to aid. We should have an opportunity for placement in approximately 7.85 days, presuming no unforeseen alterations. I seem to recollect one matching your description set for arrival. Pardon my slowing your ingress. It has been rather hectic of late. Welcome to Matriarch's Mercy. Rule number 1, no crowding. Rule number 2, avoid the exclusion zone. Our seer has predicted non-specific imminent danger. I thought the name was self-explanatory. Our seer predicted that a corner of the encampment is in terrible danger. Danger from what? Or when? Unclear. Stay away from it, and, in all probability, you won't have to find out. Our predictions spring from the universal equation, the very numbers that guide the stars. Only a fool ignores probability, and we don't suffer fools around these parts. Safety and probability are incompatible. Eventually, nowhere will be safe, including here. Not at present, but according to our predictions, the creation of a third rule is likely, if not inevitable. That's enough questions. Keep the line moving. You need anything, talk to Seer Wiley. He's in the lift building, straight through the settlement.
I remember this place before the war. Functioning Trimiculus. Peaceful silence of the canyons.
I can't recall the...
How long are we meant to stay here?
That's the order. I'm not in the position.
Greetings, qualified engineer.
By the law. It's you. Oh, thank the architect you're finally here. I've scarcely breathed while hoping you'd come. I am in desperate need of your help. As a doctor, I'm appalled. We don't have enough beds or private quarters to separate people, so sickness is blazing an unhappy trail through the refugees. Of course, the Order keeps us well supplied with meds, but things will get worse as long as we're overcrowded. Yes, I can treat sickness as it arises. It would be leagues better to prevent it entirely. That means space to spread out. Since you asked, you can run this medicine to Horst Lambing. Just don't shake the man's hand. He has a habit of coughing into his palm when he covers it at all. You see, the Seers are members of the Order who labor over the universal equation. Even in its unfinished state, the equation gives them the means to predict the future. Recently, I had a rare opportunity to ask the Seer for guidance. He told me that a dashing outsider would answer my prayers. I feared the prediction was a fluke, but here you are. A dashing outsider standing before me. Strictly speaking, it isn't. Not yet. But the math is very, very, very good at predicting what is probably most likely extremely possible. In theory. Within a margin of error. Anyway, that is the Seer's business. My business is the health and welfare of this camp. Where to begin? There are so many sick and wounded in Matriarch's Mercy, and I have but 2 imperfect hands. I am but a humble general practitioner. What I really need are specialists, and the Seer predicted an outsider would find them.
Might have time to patch up 1 or 2 patients before we head out. I used to be a combat medic. A good one, too.
You also strike me as someone on the go. I need committed medical employees, not a freelancer. The seer gave me a datapad with explicit instructions that I not read it, for my intervention could only throw probability into disarray. Now, take the datapad, with my thanks. Thanks to you, our automechanical doctor has been dispensing medication and setting broken limbs with tireless efficiency. Take this. On behalf of the Order and the displaced, I thank you. Now, will there be anything else?
You're right. The universe does not orient itself toward fairness. But it's my firm belief humanity can do better.
All evidence to the contrary.
I have too much on my mind for idle numerical chit-chat.
Hello, farewell. Thank you for this efficiently compact conversation.
Ah, you must be the, Earth Directorate agent I was told to expect. Your punctuality is commendable. Allow me to welcome you to Golden Reach. I'm afraid I've no refreshments available, but can I interest you in a customary debate over decidability?
If I may interject, High Scholar, don't you agree our time would be better utilized on more relevant discourse?
Seer Wiley's right, as always. Obviously, we've all more important things to do than to stand around trifling with truth tables. Perhaps later then. The presiding bishop sent word of your imminent arrival. However, pursuant to our normal standards of compartmentalization, she was scant on the details of your mission. That said, I've been instructed to assist you however I can. So, tell me, what brings you to Golden Reach? Since losing access to the archive, the Order has been forced to limit its open exchange of ideas and information to avoid contaminating what few predictions we can still make.
We don't use that word, prophecy. Our predictions are strictly a matter of mathematical calculation. But in layman's terms, that is the objective, yes.
The archive is a vast network of computational machines built beneath the ice of Cloister. Prior to the invasion, the Order used it to generate predictions on a vast scale. But listen to me prattling on. I'm sure you aren't here for a history lesson. Victor? Oh, yes, Archivist Clemens. Quite the mind. Such encyclopedic knowledge of engineering. One could almost mistake him for an exemplar. Is he in some kind of trouble?
Victor Clemens, some kind of radical. What an absurd notion.
I must agree with my seer. I once watched Victor shed copious tears over a damaged datapad. It's difficult to imagine him capable of worse. And that may well be true. But our standard of proof within the Order is not normally met by hearsay alone. Victor's currently supervising highly experimental research at one of our labs to the northwest, the N-Ray range, beyond the invaders' front lines. Unfortunately, you'll need to go through the decommissioned autonomous extractorium to reach it. that path is less than safe, so I advise caution.
What business is it of yours?
Let's not be unfriendly. The agent's only curious. Obviously, Victor's work has something to do with N-rays, but beyond that, I haven't a clue. More of that pesky compartmentalization, I'm afraid. Besides the highly caustic Zyranium River and the Mantisaurs, we've also received reports of mad cultists in the area. It does make me wonder why Victor decided to stay. Victor is dedicated. Single-minded, one could say. I've always thought highly of his analytical skills as a researcher, less so his social ones, perhaps. Loath as I am to admit it, there may be some merit to your worries over a conspiracy within the Order, whether Victor is involved or not. As my predecessor would remind me, denying unpleasant facts is not good science. I would be remiss if I failed to support an investigation. No doubt you heard of the recent attack launched on that Anti's Choice base, Outpost Opportunity. It came from one of our facilities, the Zyranium Manufactory. But that facility is intended for research, not military action. I hate thinking an Order member responsible, but given the precision of the attack, it does suggest traitors in our midst. It would undoubtedly benefit both of us to root them out.
Respectfully, Scholar, given current tensions, should we really be trusting such a delicate task to this stranger? Would an internal review of our ranks not be more appropriate? Choosing levity at a moment like this is only further evidence of your lack of good judgment.
I don't dispute the need for discretion, my friend. But the presiding bishop made the determination to send the agent to us. It's best we trust her calculations. Moreover, our situation is growing increasingly dire. I can't overstate my fears concerning this most recent attack ending the ceasefire and reigniting the war in Golden Ridge. One more thing. Your investigation into the traitors takes precedence. But if you could also render aid at Outpost Opportunity on our behalf, such a gesture might preserve the peace. I knew I could rely upon you. Ruth wouldn't have sent you otherwise. Here, take this writ of investigative inquiry. It'll grant you access to the Manufactory. Seer Wiley and I will conduct our own inquest into these traitors you've mentioned erstwhile. We can compare notes once you've returned with your findings.
turn back into an active war. This is the Order's anti-air control center. If you don't have specific business here, kindly keep moving.
Zyranium Manufactory 7 is presently under lockdown. Unauthorized entry is barred due to contrivance malfunction, laboratory mishap, and/or miscellaneous unspeaking dangers.
Hello? Someone there? Yes? Did the missive not play, or was it garbled in some way? Are you somehow struggling with coherence? If so, to be clear, Zyranium Manufactory 7 presently and for an indeterminate time is in lockdown. That means no external transmissions, no visitors. Wait, you have a writ? From the abbot? But we don't have any means of... yes, they said they have a... yes, sir.
This is Factor Métadier. Am I to understand you have orders from the abbot? Quite convenient for you. I have no way of verifying without allowing you entry. Oh. Very well. Come inside and we'll see this sorted. Building on the left.
Yes, right over here. You're not getting down below until you talk to me. So, the abbot deigned to send someone whilst we're contending with all manner of emergencies, did he? Wait, is that an Auntie's Choice enhanced soldier with you? Oh, I see what this is. Stay back. We have no desire to escalate things further. Don't do something you'll regret.
We want answers, not a fight. And if indeed there's any retribution to be had, it won't be by my hand. Tell him, Commander.
All within the Order are equal parts of the equation. It is functionally useless to imply greater influence. Sometimes I cannot fathom what goes through the abbot's mind, but your papers do seem to be legitimate. I will unlock the elevator so you can speak with Proctor Svoboda below. I'll send word you're en route, but fair warning, I cannot predict what reception you will receive. I expect your behavior will remain impeccable. As soon as I've seen to securing the facility, I'll be along straight away. We have a working hypothesis about who is responsible. Initial evidence looks rather conclusive. And we have managed to corner the apparent perpetrator down below, which would be a good thing if they had not, somehow seized control of the Manufactory operations. No, it doesn't add up particularly well, does it? Our suspect One Initiate Alva previously supervised launch controls. Though steadfastly maintaining her innocence, she has also barricaded herself in the operations control room below. A move not likely to allay anyone's suspicions. No, thankfully. Not yet, at any rate. Architect willing, that will be the last of it. Now, you'd best speak with our proctor. I admit I'm to a reasonable degree pleased you are on hand to corroborate current suppositions. May your query yield favorable results.
It evidently originated here. Transport pod full of Zyranium. Blue outpost opportunity to naught but tinges and flinders.
Wait, so has it been classified as an accident?
Initiate Alva, stand down. Relinquish control of this facility immediately.
Oh, my dear Proctor, you can't believe a low-level drudge like me is responsible for any of this.
You'd have us all believe you seized control to demonstrate your innocence. Wait, is this being broadcast?
I have no idea how this audio doodad works. You're the one in charge here, Proctor Svoboda. Are you sure you didn't do something?
I demand your unconditional surrender at...
Hello, Proctor? I'm pushing buttons over here now. Did I disconnect you somehow?
Over.
Ah, yes, of course. Next on my list of lowest probability events, strangers sent by the Abbot, gallivanting about amidst a lockdown. If we'd been able to communicate beyond our walls, might have saved you a trip. As I can successfully report, we have identified the responsible party. It's less what happened than who happened. Initiate Alva, that is. A low-level subordinate, assigned here years ago. Her role was to launch transport pods of volatile Zyranium to collection points in space. Not at the outposts of our rivals. Those poor, short-sighted commercialists. A spy or turncoat, no doubt. A sleeper agent from one of those secret enemy programs you're always hearing about. Within a beat of us hearing of the attack, Alva seized command of the system and locked herself in the control center. She then forcefully repelled several attempts to extricate her. 2 are dead already. Poor Jacobs lost a hand trying to pry free the outer doors. Why, she could destroy this entire place at any moment from in there. I implore you to stop her before she does so. I fear violence may be our only recourse. Fervent professements of innocence, mostly. You know, exactly what you'd expect a secret traitress to claim. Dramatic attestations that grew quite animated. I suppose spies must build up a flair for histrionics. What with all that, hiding their identities and all. Then bursting forth like a pent-up arachnid. At any rate, I have work to do, and you have a saboteur to eliminate, yes? I am so pleased a reliable party is actively engaged. I'll be in my office. Let me know once she's no longer a problem.
Now, this is important. Would you describe the Varachni's Calycery as
Of course she's hiding something. You think those 2 exemplars just fell wrong? They're hardly prone to involuntary self-injury. Alva's been here for how many years? I never noticed her. Just blended in with the scenery somehow.
Try not to deviate from the norm.
Oh, hello. A visitor. Who is it they're sending now? And who are you, dear? You're what? Some maverick for hire? Oh, no, I can see it now. Earth Directorate, yes? Like Commander Zane and that rascal Buddy. And who is that you brought with you? A friend? Ah, an Auntie's choice grafted soldier. You poor dear. And someone else. Another Earth Directorate agent, I see. Seems sad.
Is she talking about me?
All this for me. Fear I hardly deserve such attention. This entire business is just a terrible misunderstanding. I expect few in the Order know of you, but, well, I've kept to a role here that is purposely not very taxing. Others prefer calculations in their spare time. I have my stories. Between launches, I enjoyed serials, two-bit dreadfuls, periodicals. I adore Zane and Buddy, even if they are considered contraband. And you decidedly share their upright bearing. For the longest time, I didn't realize your organization actually existed. But here you are, well-timed and, no doubt, eager to help. Oh, you sounded just like Buddy, striving his best to resemble Commander Zane. The similarity was uncanny. I'll tell you exactly what happened. Our transport pod leveled outpost opportunity. I immediately realized someone must have bypassed my terminal. I initiated a lockdown to block further tampering. Had I not, additional attacks may have continued. Now, despite a long record of dedicated service, who's being blamed for this calamity? Me, somehow. Yes, that was terrible. I feel awful. Though technically speaking, they did kill each other. There was a scuffle. Their weapons fired. It was a most unfortunate thing. I've refused a few promotions over the years. Undemanding work provides me ample personal time for my stories. I enjoy speculative fiction. Does that make me suspicious?
I feel like I'm watching a work of fiction right now.
Dear me, I wish I did, but... Actually, there may be a way you could gain answers here. The firing record should contain all relevant details regarding the launch. Why, yes, I could unseal access to the records repository for you, and open the path leading there. I'd be right grateful if you'd have a look. I swear I'm completely innocent of this heinous act they're accusing me of. If you need to hear me say it, surely. I promise not to destroy this facility with all of us in it. Was that reassuring enough? Appreciate your help, dear. Please return when you have found something. May the plan favor us against long odds.
Investigator?
This initiate. Can't quite put my finger on it, but something's off. Like she's playing games. But I can't say I trust the Proctor any better. Hopefully a bit of investigating will clear things up for us. Once we find the perpetrator, we can be sure to head off any further attacks on Auntie's choice. Ought to keep moving, Commander. Ought to keep moving, Commander.
Patrol's back, I hear. Don't see Auntie's being too discreet.
Our Earth Directorate friend.
Well, hello. Have an update to share with Initiate Alva?
Hello. I've been conversing with Factor Matadier here while you were away. Understand you've met?
Yes, they witnessed me rather discomposed, I fear. Visions of Auntie's choice reprisal clouded my thoughts at the time.
The Factor is less accusatory in his questioning than certain others, which I respect. Good manners cost nothing, I always say.
Troops now guard the entrance above. Our safety addressed, I have turned my attention to the cause of our situation here, and I have deemed it wise to investigate further. Do not let my position fool you. All within the Order are scienticians, and hence we seek the truth of any hypothesis based on evidence. The Proctor's accusation is no different. A recent security audit brought up several curious messages meant for an unknown party, sent from a terminal somewhere on the premises. We were unable to track down the whereabouts of this mystery terminal, but one message contained certain oblique references to placing blame. Nothing conclusive, yet enough to give me pause.
You examined the launch records, yes? Did you find anything, dear? I'd say they've obviously been altered, dear. Fancy that odor you detected, a sign of chemicals used to affect the falsification. Ah, but listen to me. What do I know about this sort of thing? I know I've watched too many Aetherwave serials. Suppose they fuel my fervent imagination. But still, even the most junior scientician knows the best explanation is one requiring the fewest assumptions. Ergo, I set the correct coordinates. Someone overrode them. There should be ample time for regret later, dear. For now, I'll admit the armchair investigator in me wonders about Proctor Svoboda. Someone may be pulling her strings, perhaps. That's what investigators like you say, isn't it? Now, what you uncovered appears to imply 2 further avenues of inquiry. A Zyranium leak occurred moments after the launch. I imagine it may have been used as a diversion, allowing the culprit time to falsify the record. The overriding of the coordinates also deserves a look. Don't you think? I expect the Zyranium leak stemmed from alterations to the control boards and refinement logistics. I'd look for any signs of tampering that may point to the culprit.
I can speak to the coordinate override, I believe. All commands are routed through the hub in central processing. If one meant to accomplish what you're suggesting, they would likely look to do it there.
Oh, I'm full of hidden depths, dear, but this isn't the time. Later, I promise. Anything you want to know, from my first science crush to my scientician aptitude test scores. All right. There. I've unsealed both areas. With hope, what you discover will help us determine the responsible party.
I'll stay here and play for more time. If the Proctor sends anyone, I'll say I'm close to convincing you to surrender.
Ought to keep moving, Commander. Had plenty of managers like Svoboda back on Tau Ceti. Couldn't take responsibility for nothing. Ought to keep moving, Commander. As fast as I can, Commander! Commander, you're bleeding! Rest healing! All charged up! Practicing some battlefield medicine! doesn't sense target. Anyone else? We're a medic. Back in business.
Over here.
Thank you kindly. I am decidedly in your debt. Anything you need? Anything I, a lowly archivist, can provide you, a heroic individual who is handy with doors? Well, again, I deeply appreciate your skillful aid. Careful on your way out. Try not to be liquefied and subsequently devoured. May all your theories prove true.
Suppose you'll do. I'd been hoping an empiricist or assessor would amble by, but you appear reasonably apt. The Zyranium overflow vending has gone completely haywire. Oh, what else will this higgledy-piggledy nightmare of a day bring? I was ordered to keep watch until a specialist arrives. Might I entreat you to act in such a capacity? The control board to divert the flow of Zyranium is up yonder in refinery logistics. If so, I have something for your time and effort. Well, as a fellow student of science, you'll be especially interested in what I have to offer. We developed a pharmaceutical primer that, technically it poisons you a little, but also heals you quite effectively. Shut off the gas, it's yours. Tremendous. Why, this day may average toward the positive yet. May deliberate endeavors beget expected results.
Gotta keep moving, Commander.
You're back. I see my choice in you was well-founded. Zyranium overflow venting has returned to a non-haywire state, and my internal levels of disquietude have lessened along with it. With the leak abated, I am fully prepared to be peppered with queries. Now that you mention it, yes, I recall I was worried about one crisis, and my mind was completely occupied by this other crisis nearby. I must admit, I haven't given the attack a single thought since. I do hope everyone's okay. Not much. Keeps to herself mostly. Or that is entirely. Like all of us, she resided in the barracks 15 degrees to the northeast from here. You mean just after the attack occurred? I was in a state of anxiety at the time, and, well, I'm sure you're aware higher levels of cortisol can impede the encoding of memory. I am greatly grateful you were helpful and effective. Farewell. This card will allow you into our humble little research lab. It's right past operations, can't miss it, unless you do. The pharmaceutical primer I mentioned is inside on display.
Traitor's been in there a while now. Perhaps this conundrum is approaching a solution.
Oh, hello, dear. Why, we were just talking about you.
Or specifically, potential implications for a multitude of troubling scenarios, based on probable results of your investigation, downstream outcomes, and such and the like.
You know how the Order is, always calculating something. But please, tell us what you discovered.
That you found evidence that the coordinates were rerouted is definitely something. Would be an odd step for Alva here to take, except perhaps to throw blame elsewhere.
I admit I had the knowledge to cause the leak, but not the authorization. And yes, why would I reroute coordinate commands away from here? I wholeheartedly agree, but her incompetence hardly absolves her. I'm sufficiently certain our proctor is conspiring with an outside party, so I'm coming out now. She's going to tell me who she's working with. Then I'm going to kill her.
Wait a minute. You're going to what? Our investigation, it's unfinished. And you're an initiate. What are you talking about?
Oh, I see you two thought you were proving my innocence. No, you were helping identify my target. I'd advise you dears to help or stay out of my way. Proctor Svoboda needs to pay for her actions.
Yes, I concur. That may be the only part of this that seems certain. You are far more capable than some back Manufactory button pusher. Who are you, really?
I am a dedicated agent of the Order, but no, dear. My name is not Miriam Alva. I am Marisol Delgado, formerly of the Department of Preemptive Causal Redirection.
That group was just a story to scare novice scienticians. Next, you're going to be telling me you're... Wait. It is you, isn't it? The one they called the Endpoint.
I arrived decades ago to lie low after a difficult assignment. More than that, I have nothing to speak on at present.
The rumors about your department. They said anyone who might delay the equation being solved disappeared. If there are any hints of truth to that, I find it severely at odds with Order tenets for balancing efficiency with humanity.
This is hardly the time for a history lesson or debate, I'm afraid.
That you are who you are, and are standing right and have been here for years. It's all much to digest. I suspect your methods are not my own, nor the Order's, as I know it. And I fear your intentions for Proctor Svoboda.
It's sweet that you think you can stop me, but I'll elucidate this for you. At this point, you'll either need to trust me or back that worm Svoboda. That ridiculous little functionary upended my existence. For 20 years, I was Alva. It wasn't a good life I had here, but it was quiet. It was mine. It wasn't hers to take.
This would mean standing against a member of the Order. A mid-ranking one, at that. I cannot be party to this, but neither shall I stand in your way.
A wise calculation, my friend. Good thing you showed up when you did. You saved me from having to kill everyone here. Svoboda has much to answer for. Let's go see that she does.
What's this? What are you doing here? Come to surrender, I take it?
After decades keeping this identity, your inexpert blundering has rendered it obsolete. I am Marisol Delgado, former head intercessor of the Order. This would be an ideal time to confess everything. Before you die.
You can't possibly be party to all this. Not with her vast misdeeds so readily apparent.
Our investigator has definitively determined my innocence following a thorough investigation. I appreciate your practicality. Enough, traitor. You made your play. You lost. No more deception. No more lies. Time to pay what is due.
No, wait,
Thus concludes a thoroughly distasteful business. What a nice and thoughtful thing to say, dear. Best search her office. Someone clearly was pulling her strings.
Would have been nice to perform that search before there was a corpse in the room, but beggars and choosers.
The Proctor left her terminal on. Maybe it holds some sign of who she was working for. The terminal unsealed the effluvium repository. That's traditionally off limits. Ideal spot to hide something. We should take a look.
Can't talk. Calculating an inverse complex sine function in my head.
Space used to be brimming with runoff chemical sludge. It's been renovated, I see. Another terminal. Go ahead. You should have the honors. Proctor's efforts appear part of a larger scheme. Ah, of course. I should have assumed you had a greater purpose here. I have some unfinished business I need to get back to. I could use help from an operator like you. Believe my specific skills could benefit your efforts as well. I'd propose a strategic partnership. You help me, I help you. What do you say? Good, good. It's a little crowded here, though, isn't it?
Supposing that means no joyrides and no scratching the paint? I can manage that. Until later, Commander.
Excellent. Well then, I am quite ready to leave this place.
I realize you didn't receive the most welcome of receptions here. I can't completely argue with that. I recognize you've done right by us here today, and I appreciate your efforts.
Marisol Delgado has been added to the ship roster and has claimed her quarters. This unit has also been informed by Agent Delgado that she is not to be disturbed while resting unless the ship is on fire, and even then only if it nears my quarters.
Vara, you owe me a sparring session. Get your gloves and warm up.
What? Again? I, don't suppose you'd accept a doctor's oath from Val.
Come on. I already promised I won't throw elbows this time. Where's your fighting spirit?
Must have had it knocked clean out of me. In fact, why don't I go look for it now?
Ain't gonna climb the corporate ladder with that attitude. You could just learn to duck, you know. Hope you appreciated how I bit my tongue back there with the abbot. Didn't want things to come to blows with civilians in the crossfire. Full of excuses for the attack, wasn't he? Could be that he's sincere. Or could be that he has his hands so full with keeping his community from falling apart that he missed a memo or two. Either way, I'm willing to stay my hand until we know the truth. If it were my folk buried under the rubble, I'd want to know for certain before acting. Besides, ain't nobody around here better suited for investigating than we are. He don't strike me as a liar. Incompetent, though? I'll say this. If he's got insubordination brewing, he's well and truly screwed. While we're at it playing detective, we need to scope out opportunity. If there are any survivors, we ought to help, however we're able. I can only hope they had warning enough to run for cover. If they didn't, well, there's only so much basic training can prepare you for. Once endured a week-long bombardment in a foxhole with only enough rations to last 3 days. Screams went on twice that long. Some of us still ain't fully recovered. We should move on, unless you got something for me? How personal are we talking? Couldn't say. I was in it all of 2 days before my graft started festering. Before that, I was an infantry medic. Our platoon was one of the first to touch down in Arcadia. I would have continued serving on the front line in an upgraded capacity, but, well, once the state of my graft became apparent, it was decided that parting ways would be best. Oh. They only officially discharge you if you, say, killed a fellow trooper on purpose, or gave someone a screaming deal on triptease. I was quietly reassigned to the menial troubleshooter contract status, which had me running all sorts of mind-numbing jobs across the island. Thrilling, I know. We're among the most valuable targets on the battlefield. If we go down, our entire platoon's at risk. But boosting our constitution, making us stronger, making the enemies soil themselves at the thought of enraging us, there's a lot to be gained there. Could be, but I'm sure they crunched the numbers extra hard to determine if it was worth the risk. Wouldn't want to throw all that funding away. My commanding officer, and the surgeon who performed the operation, I imagine. I wasn't lucid at the time. When I regained consciousness, I saw that my service pistol was gone, and a termination notice was in its place. I put 2 and 2 together. Law, that was a bad morning. Look, I knew dismissal was a possibility when I volunteered for the procedure. A successful graft is a boon, a failed one is a colossal liability. I'm a walking lesson in breakage. Says a lot about your character that you'd focus more on the aesthetics than the scientific possibilities. In any case, my CO wasted no time moving his troops off Eden. Since I'm no longer one of his, I ain't privy to the details. I miss my platoon. Most of the time. I hope they're holding on okay wherever they are. Huh. If nothing else, they'll have Ortiz to keep up morale. I know the nonstop jokes from that bastard sustained me for weeks. Yeah, he's tough. He'll be all right. Of course I do. Can't help but wonder if I'm missed in return. Anyhow, I would rather return to the matter at hand. No use dwelling on those out of sight and out of mind. Right. If this new graft fails, you mean? Then I keep pushing forward till I can't anymore. You didn't see me when I first got out of surgery and came to Paradise Island. The fact that you and I met at all is a testament to Doc's skill. But suppose if her treatment doesn't stick, then maybe it's my time to go. You can only cheat death so many times. You know that as well as I do. I owe Doc more than I could say. She helped me without even asking for payment or a favor up front. I never would have thought folk like her existed out here. She reminds me of the folk I had back home in Tau Ceti. Generous despite everything. The thought gave me comfort when I first sat in her chair, barely able to walk without help. I'd rather not dwell on those moments, if it's all the same to you. What matters is the here and now.
Yes, Commander. Happy to provide unbiased observational data. Ah, your young colleague. Competent, practical, crack shot. Saddened by his years of isolation, but also honed like me. He would be a formidable target of assassination. Oh, he seems like a nice young man, dear. I must admit I wrote off these corporatists as shallow bit obsessed simpletons. I still do, on average, but she falls far outside their norm. Her model is a design classic, and the aftermarket mods she received from Niles are most impressive. We'd be dead many times over without her. She makes me laugh more than anyone. Whatever's on your mind. Sometimes, with purpose. Don't you as well? Do you draw some moral distinction between avenging harm and nipping it in the bud beforehand? Between covert and overt means? When all is said and done, are those in your ledger any less dead than mine? That so? Hadn't thought you'd felt that way. Didn't take you for a pacifist. Just a mite less homicidal. Some were proprietary. Often they involved forms of subtle persuasion, others more overt influence. Now and again, more direct means were required. I'm not hearing a question. Oh, I am a dedicated member of the Order. Beyond that, there's really little you or anyone need to hear about. Consider yourself lucky. You already know more about me than anyone else I've met in the last 20-odd years. Information free of context can be off-putting, confusing, dangerous even, if misjudged. I mentioned before I was part of the Department of Preemptive Causal Redirection. My role there, you may recall, was head intercessor. I was tasked to influence pivotal events, to keep the solving of the equation on track. Something occurred. I needed to step off the board a while. To put it mildly, after the incident in question, seeking refuge seemed prudent. Dorado appealed to me because it was off the board but not completely remote. There I could lie low for a time, but observe. So I believed. Our department was shuttered shortly after Ruth Pissar took office. To avoid undue attention, I remained in hiding. May all our travails add to the equation.